which is based on an idea that I came in with, having worked with a group called the Junior Justice Connection Project, which deals with juvenile crime.
Right.
And this show is all based on a real-life event.
The headlines seemed impossible when they first appeared. William Shatner, cultural icon, Captain Kirk, Denny Crane, and at 92, the oldest human ever to venture into actual space, supposedly facing a life sentence. Fans were stunned, confused, and desperate for answers. But as with many shocking stories in today's media landscape, the truth was far more complex than a simple headline could capture. For over 7 decades, William Shatner has been a fixture in American entertainment. From his early days in classical theater to his groundbreaking role as Captain James T. Kirk on Star Trek, through his music career, books, documentaries, and recent journey to actual space, Shatner has continuously reinvented himself while remaining instantly recognizable to generations of fans. Then suddenly, strange headlines began appearing on obscure websites and social media. William Shatner facing life behind bars, Captain Kirk's final frontier, prison, and perhaps most alarming, goodbye forever. Shatner sentenced to life. The claims spread like wildfire across platforms where algorithms reward engagement without regard for accuracy. Concerned fans flooded legitimate news sites with questions, while others took to Shatner's social media accounts, seeking confirmation or denial. "I nearly had a heart attack when I saw those headlines," said longtime Star Trek fan Margaret Chen. "I've followed Mr. Shatner's career since I was a child. The idea that he could be going to prison seemed impossible, but in today's world, you never know what might be true." The rumors appeared to have originated from a perfect storm of factors. Shatner's recent candid comments about mortality in interviews following his space flight, his temporary absence from social media during a documentary filming project, and a completely unrelated court case involving someone with a similar name. Add in the internet's tendency to amplify sensational claims, and suddenly, a man known for exploring fictional galaxies was being discussed as if he were facing real-life incarceration. It's amazing how these things spread, explained Dr. Jason Mercer, a media studies professor who researches misinformation. People see a headline that seems shocking but vaguely plausible, and they share it without verifying. Before you know it, fiction becomes accepted as fact. The reality of William Shatner's situation couldn't have been further from the alarming headlines. Far from facing legal troubles, the nonagenarian actor was actually in the midst of one of the most productive periods of his later career. He was filming a documentary about aging and vitality, recording new music, writing another book, and continuing his passionate advocacy for environmental causes. "William was completely baffled when we first showed him these rumors," said a longtime friend and business associate who requested anonymity. "His first reaction was to laugh it off. He's developed a pretty thick skin after decades in the public eye. But when we realized how many people were genuinely concerned, he felt he needed to address it." Shatner himself finally responded with his characteristic blend of humor and directness, posting on social media, "Reports of my imprisonment have been greatly exaggerated, unless you count being trapped in meetings about my next book as incarceration, in which case, please send cake with a file in it." But the question remains, how did a beloved cultural icon become the subject of rumors about a life sentence? The answer reveals much about our current media ecosystem and the blurry line between celebrity and reality. "Celebrity gossip has always existed," noted Mercer, "but social media has created an environment where unverified claims can reach millions of people before any fact-checking occurs. And when someone of Shatner's age temporarily steps back from public view, our minds often go to dramatic explanations rather than mundane ones like he's working on a project or he's taking a vacation." The court case that appears to have been confused with Shatner's situation involved a man with a similar-sounding name in Florida who was convicted of financial crimes. Through a game of internet telephone, this unrelated case somehow became attached to the Star Trek star, creating a completely fictional narrative that nonetheless spread widely. "It's like that children's game where you whisper something to one person, and by the time it reaches the end of the line, the message is completely different," explained Mercer. "Except now that line circles the globe in seconds." For Shatner's colleagues and true fans, the rumors were not just annoying, but hurtful. Many took to social media to debunk the claims and express support for the actor. "Bill has spent his entire career bringing joy to people," said former Boston Legal co-star James Spader when asked about the rumors at an unrelated press event. "The idea that he would be involved in anything criminal is not just false, it's absurd. He's one of the most law-abiding people I know. except perhaps when it comes to the laws of aging, which he seems determined to defy. The Shatner situation highlights a troubling aspect of modern celebrity. The public often feels entitled to know everything about a person they've invited into their living rooms, and when information is withheld or unclear, speculation fills the void. There's this sense that if someone has been on our TV screens, they owe us complete transparency about their lives, said Mercer. But celebrities are still people with a right to privacy, especially regarding health issues or personal matters. Shatner himself had always been relatively open about his personal journey. In interviews before and after his spaceflight, he discussed mortality, the fragility of Earth, and his own sense of time running short. That openness may have inadvertently contributed to the rumor mill when he stepped back from public life to focus on his documentary project. When someone has shared so much of their personal journey, their silence can seem suspicious, Mercer explained. Viewers think, he told us about everything else, so why not this? They don't consider that maybe this time is different, maybe this time he's just busy with work. The life sentence rumor also reveals something about how we view celebrities in their later years. At 92, Shatner has defied expectations by remaining vibrantly active and creative. For some, the leap from elderly celebrity to facing the end wasn't a big one, a reflection of our culture's often dismissive attitude toward aging. There's still this tendency to write off older people in our culture, said Dr. Elaine Markson, a gerontologist. When someone in their 90s disappears from public view temporarily, many people automatically assume the worst. It's a harmful stereotype that makes aging even harder. For the record, William Shatner has never been sentenced to life imprisonment. He has never served time in prison at all. His temporary absence from social media stemmed from an intensive work schedule on his documentary about aging, not legal troubles or health crises. The real story of a 92-year-old man continuing to create, explore, and reinvent himself is less sensational than a fictional court case, but it's far more inspiring. And in an era of rampant misinformation, truth matters. I think what bothers me most about these rumors is that they distract from Bill's actual journey, said a documentary producer who has worked with Shatner. He's doing groundbreaking work on changing how we view aging. That's the story people should care about, not some made-up legal trouble. Shatner's story also highlights the often hidden toll of false rumors on their subjects. While he responded publicly with humor, those close to him say the experience was unsettling. He's developed pretty thick skin over the years, said a friend. But it's still disturbing to have people thinking you're going to prison when you've done nothing wrong. And at his age, having to deal with concerned calls from friends and family who've seen these rumors isn't just annoying, it's exhausting. As for Shatner's current projects, those close to him report that he's more productive than ever. The documentary on aging explores how people in their 80s, 90s, and beyond continue to contribute to society and find meaning. It's a topic with personal significance for Shatner, who has become something of a poster child for vital aging. William isn't interested in slowing down, said the documentary producer. He's interested in changing the conversation about what's possible in our later years. And he's doing that by example. The bizarre life sentence rumor may have finally run its course, but it leaves behind important questions about how we treat public figures, especially older ones. Do we respect their privacy, or do we demand explanations for every absence? Do we accept mundane truths, or do we crave sensational stories? I think there's a lesson here for all of us, reflected Mercer. Before you share that shocking headline about someone you've welcomed into your home through television for decades, ask yourself, is this verified? Is this respectful? Would I want people spreading rumors about me if I were taking time to work on a project I cared about? For now, the real William Shatner continues his remarkable journey, undeterred by internet rumors. He's not facing a life sentence in prison. He's facing life itself, with the same curiosity, creativity, and courage that have defined his extraordinary career. I've died dozens of times on screen, Shatner joked in a recent interview, obliquely referencing the rumors. I've been killed by Klingons, thrown off bridges, and had more fictional funerals than anyone should have to endure. But in real life, I'm still here, still working, still exploring. The only sentence I'm serving is the next one I'm writing for my book. And for millions of fans around the world, that's the best possible ending to this strange chapter in the Shatner story. Not goodbye forever, but rather, stay tuned for what comes next. Because if William Shatner has proven anything over his 7 decades in entertainment, it's that there's always another frontier to explore, another reinvention on the horizon, and another surprise for those who thought they had him figured out. The greatest enemy of knowledge isn't ignorance, Shatner said recently, quoting his friend Leonard Nimoy's character Spock. It's the illusion of knowledge. These rumors were a perfect example of that. People thought they knew something that simply wasn't true. As the dust settles on this bizarre episode, Shatner's focus remains where it has always been, on the future, not the past. His documentary continues filming. His music collaboration with a younger artist progresses. His environmental advocacy grows more urgent, and his sense of humor remains intact. When asked by a reporter if he had a message for those who spread or believed the rumors about his supposed legal troubles, Shatner's response was characteristically philosophical, yet pointed. "I've spent my life playing characters who explore strange new worlds. It seems some people have decided to create a strange new world about me. I prefer reality. It's more interesting and, at my age, far more precious than fiction." For a man who has spent decades bringing fictional worlds to life, that commitment to truth over sensationalism might be his most important role yet. Not Captain Kirk or Denny Crane, but William Shatner himself, still boldly going where few nonagenarians have gone before.